Hey, this is Jacqueline Richardson. This is JJ Diamond, Jackie, Deja, and I'm back with a second podcast, which should have been the first podcast, but it didn't work out that way this morning because when God directs me to do something, I do it. However, today I wanted to talk about my marriages. I've been married twice. I got married the first time I was 20 and 19, or 20, one of the two. I was very, very young. I had a baby young. And I was married young. I was engaged to my first child's father. However, that didn't work out. And then later on down the line, I did get married to another fella. Now, when you're young, and this is why, I know that they say marriage before sex. You shouldn't. If you have a baby, you should get married, so your child won't be a bastard. There's all different type of sayings, and we want to live in God's way. However, in today's time, what the people that we're dealing with and the demons that we're dealing with, due to everyday life, it's almost impossible. Okay. And the reason I say this is because it doesn't make sense to get married to get a divorce. Now, you have a lot of older couples out here that met in high school, they got married, and they're still together. And that's because they knew what they wanted. They had patience. They loved each other and loved themselves enough to say, I'm starting my life now, and I'm going to build from here, and I can see the future. Okay? But when both parties are not on the same page, okay, meaning there's no negativity going on in the home, meaning arguing, or one is trying to outdo the other, or because you don't have enough love from that other mate, it becomes a problem in the household. There's a lot of different things that can become problems in the household. You lose trust for that person. It could be a million and one things. Now, I want to talk about my first marriage. When I met my first husband, we were just friends, and we had met through a minister, actually. And when I met him, he was such a good guy. I couldn't have asked for better. You know what I mean? He's actually the one that got me into rapping, okay? Because he was a writer, and he would write rhymes to me. And he liked my deliverance. So, we used to do a lot of things together. We would find ways to build our time together. Okay, it was never being bored while we were together. Okay, we felt like we were bored. We'd play cards. We'd play a game. It didn't matter. We did something. Take a walk together. And that's what made us feel like we were supposed to be married, because we were able to overcome the boredness or being bored with each other. Because when you're in a relationship, you just can't have sex all day. That's it. It's impossible, okay? Because you got to get up, you got to clean house, you got to go to work, you got to take care of the children. So even though you fell in love with the sex or whatever the case may be, don't mean that that's what your life is built on. You have to build your life around that. Take trips, do things, and that's what makes a relationship work. When something is not right, you sit down and talk about it, not argue about it. You can't be selfish when you're in a relationship. And a relationship is a lot of work. You know what I mean? And if you don't want to put in work, then you shouldn't be in a relationship. So big up to all the single people out there that just don't have enough time to put in work for a relationship. They'd rather be compassionate and for the night or for a week, and then they can keep it moving. And I respect that. Now, I want to talk about a lot of the things that I've learned with being in a marriage and being in a marriage so young. When I was married, I was very young. So, there's things that the wife is supposed to do, and she can't complain about doing it. The husband goes out and get the money. And when I first got married, I was a stay-at-home wife. Okay, my husband worked. He was, no, I'm sorry. When we first got together, I was working. And then he became a truck driver, and I was a stay-at-home wife. So there was things that I had to do, and that was keep my house in order, and I was in college, keep my house in order, go to school, and do whatever I needed to do to make sure that he was comfortable when he came home. Okay? And it went well for a while, but then he changed. Okay, I was living my pattern of life. Only thing that I couldn't live anymore, which I had to understand, was we were trying to save money, and I'm gonna tell you about this incident. And I still think about it to this day. We were saving money, and I was working. And when you get you file your income tax and get your income tax check, sometimes it be big. So you put it in the bank and save it, especially when all your bills is paid. And I was always one that loved designer stuff. I was always one that wanted some nice stuff. And I had wanted to go to Janet Jackson's concert. I'm a big fan of Janet Jackson, always been. And I wanted to buy these Chanel sandals. I'll never forget it. Okay, we had a joint account. And we did almost everything together. We bought a timeshare together, and we were young. We wasn't even in our early 20s. You know what I mean? We was in our early 20s. Okay, we had bought a timeshare. We lived under my people, my family. We had cars, even though I didn't really drive back then. But we were doing our thing, you know what I mean? And we were young. But anyway, I love going to concerts, and I wanted to see Janet Jackson. That was one of my dreams, to see Janet Jackson on stage and dance and, but I had to look cute when I go to this concert, So I wanted these Chanel sandals. Now, anybody that know anything about Chanel or Louis Vuitton, Gucci, y'all know stuff costs an arm and a leg. And these particular sandals were $700. But we had $15 in the bank. Okay, so I felt like some of that money was mine. So I asked him to give me the bank card. I want to go to the bank and get some money out. And he asked me why. And I said, because I want to go buy me some Chanel sandals. And I had told my friend, I said, hold on, let me go and get the bank card from him. And we can go down to the village and go shopping. And I can get my sandals while we're down there. And I went in there and I said, okay, I need this amount of money for my ticket. And I need my sandals. And I used to make my clothes sometimes, and I always had a lot of clothes, so I wasn't worried about what my clothing. And I might have found something down in the village, because we used to shop a lot in the village. And I wasn't worried about the clothes, but I needed them sandals. I seen them sandals. I wanted them sandals. So I'll never forget this day. And I went in there, and I said to my husband, I said, I need the bank card because I want to go buy these sandals, and I want to get my ticket for the concert and get my clothes and stuff together. I got to get my hair done, and all this stuff. And he said, well, how much is these sandals? I said, $700. And he's like, what? And I said, $700. Now, he wasn't raised in I got to have the new fly stuff. Okay, he wasn't raised like that. Okay, he was brought up in Long Island in upper part of the Bronx. Okay, and I didn't understand why he was like, no. Now, I'm a city girl. I'm like, look, I need these. Okay, I gotta have these sandals. Okay. Now, my aunt, she was a city girl as well. We lived in the middle of the South Bronx, and she stayed fly. This is just what she did. You know what I mean? She had to have the new too. So I'm taking after my people. Like, yo, I got to stay fly when I step out here to Janet Jackson's concert. And he kept telling me no. And I said, I can't stand this guy. I said, some of that money is my money too. Why can't I have my money? And he said to me, well, somebody got to be, how he said it? Somebody got to be strong enough to say, no, we can't have it so we can continue to save. And I said, but you still got to have fun sometime and be able to buy yourself nice things. Okay? I don't go nowhere. I stay home. You go to work. I'm here with the baby. This is one time I want to have fun for myself. Now, instead of him coming to a medium with me and saying, okay, well, look, I want you to have a good time. I want you to go out and get your, get your fun, get your life. But you just can't spend $700 on some Chanel sandals. I would have accepted it a little bit better. Okay? Instead of him just outright telling me no. There has to be an explanation when there's money that I worked for. Okay? And he didn't want to give me an explanation on money that I worked for. I had a problem with that. Okay? So I learned from that marriage, you never mix your monies. You just never do it. Okay? You always have separate accounts. Okay? Even though you're supposed to be one. Especially if you're working. Now, if the husband is the only one working and he has you on the account because you got to go pay the bills after he make the money, that's understandable. But if you out there working too, and you got money in the account, them joint accounts need to go away. They need to go away. Because they are the root to all evil, and they say money is the root to all evil, and it will break up a marriage. But my husband also had some issues that he was dealing with from his life and his past. Now, this is the other thing. When you go into a marriage, everything that happened in your past, of course you can't forget it because it's always going to be a part of your past. But you can't bring it into a new relationship. Okay? You talk about it, you let the other person know what you dealt with and how much pain it was, and then you let it go and you move forward because your new life is with this person that you're married to. And y'all are building a life together. So you can't bring all that negativity from your past into that marriage. Because that's when it affects not just you, it affects the whole family. Okay? And that's something that he did. But he was young. He was young. So I don't fault him totally. And even though we had broke apart, we still remain friends, because he knew he was young and I was young as well. And we didn't know the challenges of being in a relationship and being in a committed married relationship. Okay? And like I said, he was still carrying demons from his past. So there was a lot of things he required of me that was from his past. And I shouldn't have had nothing to do with what was going on in his past. We're here today and now, and we're trying to build the future, and everything was good in the beginning. But then things start going downhill because he kept this, I guess it was just whatever went on in the past was eating at him, and I don't want to talk about his business, totally. I know what it was, but I'm just not going to tell y'all about it. But y'all get the concept of he let what went on in his past destroy his future in his marriage. And I started seeing a lot of selfishness because he started feeling like I didn't care. But it's not that I didn't care. That wasn't my life. This is our life. Whatever we're going through within our life is what we are supposed to worry about, not what went on in the past. So what I learned out of that is having a balance in a marriage, I hear a lot of women say, oh, I'm not washing no man's clothes and folding his drawers, and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. It's your job as a woman. Okay, the queen of the house. Okay, y'all all running around calling yourselves queens and y'all don't even do queen work. Okay, as the queen of the house, you're supposed to keep the house clean. You're supposed to maintain the kids. Husband is supposed to make the money. In today's time, it's a little harder because they have made it so hard for people for it to just be one income. So now we have to supplement our mates' incomes because it's so hard for them to make it by themselves, and still give the family everything they deserve. Okay? So, with that being said, when the wife works right along with the husband, this is when everything should be 50-50. They help each other. If the husband gets home first, he cooks dinner. Okay? If the kids need to go to football or whatever, if the husband's job is able to let him go early or whatever the case may be, he does that. It's not all on one person. Now, if the husband could afford to take care of the family without the wife working, then, hey, yes, it's her job to get up every day, get the kids ready, clean the house, cook the dinner, wash the clothes, take the kids to football. And granted, yes, being a stay-at-home mom is harder than going to work every day. I think going to work every day is the easy thing. And when the husband comes home, make him happy so he can get up the next day happy and go to work in a peaceful, calm home. Not where he comes home and everybody's in an uproar and he don't even want to be there. Don't even want to put his money into the house. And then they decide they got to go find him a new girlfriend because they want peace. They just want peace with with their mate, and quiet, no drama. Okay, this is when they go pick up the side chicks. Okay, because it's too much chaos in the home. And the wife just don't get it. Like, okay, well, I'm trying to keep myself up, but it's hard because I'm doing all of these things. And I'm trying to please him as much as I can. But he's cheating on me. Why? Okay? There's a couple of type of cheaters, y'all. This is just one that I'm talking about. Okay? You can even stay looking good for your man, and he would still go out and cheat. But majority of the men that sit with their family and come home and drop all the money on the table and say, pay the bills, honey. Let me know what I got left so I can do X, Y, and Z. Okay? Are those men that want to come home to a peaceful, calm home. Not kids running through the house. Not the kids getting in trouble. The drama. You want to come home to a hot meal. Okay? And as women, we feel like it's a lot. And it is. But this is what we're supposed to do. So you have to figure it out. How much time you have to do everything. You have to learn how to make everything easy so you can run through it. So when that man comes home, the house is quiet and he can relax himself doing whatever he likes to do. But he'll be at home. Even if he's the type of man that want to just cross his legs and put his foot up at I forget what they call it, y'all, but when you put your feet up. I got one of the things, but I don't even know what it's called. But you put your feet up and they may drink a beer or whatever the case may be and watch they sports or they stories or whatever, but the house is quiet, If the kids want to come in there and talk to them, or if he want to talk to the kids, he have this conversation with the kids, and that's that. And then when it's time to go to bed, that's when y'all have your time for yourselves. Okay? When you get into a marriage, this is things you have to do. I want to give a shout out to Royalty. She's another YouTuber. Her husband, CJ, they got 1, 2, 3. Now they have 5 children, I believe. six. One doesn't live with them, but she comes every holiday or whatever the case may be. And I see Royalty. Some days she'll be flies, I don't know what. She be looking good. And then some days on there, she look a hot mess. But that's the reality of life. Okay? When you have a family, you can't get up every day and put on makeup. You just can't do it. Because you got so much other stuff to do. You got to get up, you cook. And this is what I like about CJ and Royalty. You know, they give it to you real. Even though CJ be doing a lot. But Royalty is the real one that showed you, hey, I take care of this family. I got 6 kids here. I get up, I cook the meals. You know, I got to wash the clothes, make sure they keep these rooms clean. You know, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. She might be going off up in there. You know, because I know I goes off. You know, because you can't do it all by yourself. So they got to do their parts. You know, so you got to go off. You got to walk through that motherfucker. Oh, excuse me, I ain't supposed to be cursing. You got to walk through the house and act a fool sometime. One time, I always tell people, one time is all it takes. If you do it right that time, you ain't going to have to worry about them not doing what they supposed to do. You know, so you can get some peace. You know, so shout out to Royalty, you know, and she just had twins, so it's even worse. You know, she got her mom there to help her, you know, but it's still hard. You know? Because she still got 3 other kids. She got to get up for school. Remember now that they got homework, you know. She got to help them with that. You know, it's a lot. So ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to be this beautiful queen that you think you're gonna see every day. All of that is fake. Any woman that get on social media every single day with makeup is a lazy person. You know they ain't doing nothing but getting up, putting on their makeup, and trying to show you who they are. It's not reality, people. It's just not reality. When you have a family, it's just not reality. When you have to keep your house clean, when you got to take kids to doctor's appointments, when you got to make sure that their clothes are clean, and still run businesses and make money. It's just not fit. So right now, they are my model couple of 2020. I love them. I was watching them last night. CJ be going a little overboard, but I love to see Royalty, you know, the way she do things. Some days, like I said, some days she be all dolled up. Beautiful. And then some days she's just her. Because she just can't do it. She's a human being. She's not a robot. Now, if she was just being paid to get up every day and put on makeup and didn't have to wash clothes, didn't have to deal with the kids, didn't have to interact with nobody, I could see her doing it. But then she'll be losing the respect of her children. So this is the reality of it. So in marriages, you have to meet people halfway. And CJ, he must not be getting angry about it with her because she's still being showed in the videos. He shows her. You know what I mean? Like, there go my babe. She might make a little mess today, but I still love her because she handling the business. She about to make my breakfast so I can get out here and act a fool. He appreciates her. Even though she's looking a mess. What y'all would call a mess. Because I don't call it a mess. It's just being natural. So, that's the thing with marriages. You have to have a balance. You know, and both parties have to agree. Okay, they have to agree on something. And granted, yeah, the man is supposed to take, according to the Bible, the man is supposed to take sole control over his family. You know, it's hard for men to do that today because there's so much going on in the world where people in their family can pick up negative when they go outside, and you got to watch when your kids are learning all these negative things. You're saying, where this come from? Because we don't have this up in our house. So they don't pick this up from which friend? Who's living like this? So I know to pull you away from them. Or did they get it from somebody else? Because I know their parents is not like that. So these are all the things that we have to watch out for when we're allowing our children to deal with other people in the world, and including our husbands and wives. Your husband may go out and say, me and my wife is going through X, Y, and Z, and I don't know what to do. And then this man, because he was raised different, telling your husband how to come home and treat you. And then you say, well, where did this come from? This ain't the man that I know. When your husband is supposed to be coming to you saying, this is what I'm feeling, this is how I'm feeling, and we got to work this out so I can start feeling better about myself. What do we need to do to make ourselves better? And see, me and my husband, my first husband, we used to sit down and talk about stuff like that. But what we would do is take trips. We'd take trips, just us. We would go to our timeshare and just have a ball. I think I put some pictures up a long time ago where me and him would just go and chill in the jacuzzi and, at the timeshare and burn the fireplace together. You need that in a relationship. You need that. And so not always about what y'all doing in the bedroom. You need that alone time with your mates. And when you have a family, it's really, really hard. But you have to set aside that time for that marriage. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And I'm big up to those that's been married for many, 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 many years. Now, I got a divorce from my husband because he was pressuring me into things that I guess he was talking to people. And he just didn't want to meet me halfway. And I don't care what it is. If your mate don't want to meet you halfway on something, then that relationship needs to end. Okay? And that's why me and my first husband had to get a divorce. Because he didn't want to meet me halfway on something. And I had to learn that. My next husband, he really kind of swindled me and, how can I say it, showered me with so many gifts to where I didn't see his negative. Sometimes a person can cover up the negative just by all the gifts that they're giving you. Because he wanted to do what he wanted to do. Okay? And it just don't work like that when you're in a marriage. So he would shower me with all of these nice things so I wouldn't pay attention to all the negative he was doing. And this is the other thing I wanted to mention too. If God is not in your marriage, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Both parties have to believe in God. I don't care if it's Jehovah, Allah, Buddha. I don't care. You have to have some type of discipline. Okay, and religion. And my second husband, like I said, he showered me with so much that I couldn't see his negative. I mean, he had a lot of negative going on. A lot of negative. Okay, his mind was just not even right. But my thing was, he's treating me right. I don't want for nothing. I ask my husband for whatever I want, and I'm going to get it. Because my first husband didn't do that for me. Okay, my first husband will hold out on my money. Okay? So, I felt some kind of way when I got with the second husband and he showered me with all this stuff. I was like, yeah, this is the man right here. And I ain't even got to buy the stuff. And he paid up all the bills. Yeah, need him. But I wasn't paying attention to the red flags. Okay? So now, I don't want to talk too much about him, because this podcast is going to be over soon. But where I'm going with this is, when you meet people that have the same red flags that you've been experiencing, it's because you're picking the same type of people. And this is one of the reasons why I won't get remarried yet. Because it's like all of these people have these same red flags. And then you say to yourself, okay, well, is it you or is it them? But then when you analyze the situation, you're saying, no, these men just feel like they supposed to be like this. Now, I had took a marriage course. Shout out to Buffalo, Catholic Charities. Me and my second husband went through some issues, and I had to take this marriage course. And I needed to understand how to be a wife. Now, when I used to tell the mentor what I was going through, he used to say, you're 100% correct by what you was doing. And now that you're telling me what he was doing, he ain't right. Now, when I left from the course and I moved to Maryland, they called me and they said, Miss Richardson, we know you're away from your husband, and there's a lot of your type of husbands out there, and we want you to look for the red flags. That was what she said to me. And I always hear her playing in my head over and over. Make sure you look for the red flags so this won't be a repeated occurrence in your life. Now, if I would have known that back when I was, say, 16, my life would have been great. Because I would have looked for the red flags. So this is why I'm talking about this, because we want the youth to start looking for those red flags so they don't have to go through the pain. They don't have to go through the torment of being in a relationship that's just not ever going to be good for them. I met a guy, and he had so many red flags, it was unreal. And he just swore he was God's gift to me. And I'm like saying to him, like, but you're not. You got too many issues. And instead of him saying, okay, well, you feel like I got too many issues and I got too many red flags, what are they? So he can fix it. When a man don't want to know what he's doing wrong, that means he already know what he's doing wrong and it's intentional. A man that wants to change wants to know whether it's going to hurt him to hear it or not. So he can change. Okay? And you can give them time because no one is perfect. Okay? And it takes for us to learn in order to change. But if you still see time after time after time that they're just not changing, let them go and move on, because it's wicked. It doesn't want that long-term stability. Because a man is not to destroy his home. That is his sanctuary. So when he destroys his home, he's destroying everything in it. And that comes with taking the financial, spending it on other women or in the streets, gambling, whatever the case may be. Out using drugs and drinking. The adults are there to make sure the home has stability. And everything at home is supposed to be taken care of properly before it goes to the outside. And if it doesn't, then it's not a good relationship. A lot of these men have to get back into religion. And there's some that's in religion and they still got it messed up. Because they're not in the full-fledged hardcore of it. They're just getting started. So, when I see red flags, I pull back. That's just me, Miss JJ, Jacqueline Richardson. I pull back. And I'll tell them, I don't want you. You know, it's not being harsh. It's not being mean. It's just having standards for your life. I don't want you unless I see change. Okay? People can talk all day about what they want, but if they don't apply themselves to it, it's not going to happen. You know? I think it was Meek Mill that said, some people go to sleep and dream about their dreams instead of pursuing their dreams. And that's what they do. You know, instead of them physically living their dreams, they want to lay down and dream about their dreams. When they sleep, when they high, they see their dreams instead of in real life living their dreams. And this happens a lot in marriages. You know, they feel like, okay, well, I think I married the wrong person. You know, because they got married probably because the sex was good. Not because they really loved this person and really wanted to build with this person. You know, when a man is married and loves his wife and loves his family, don't nobody else matters. You know? And that's just what it is. I used to work with so many men at Frito-Lay. And we used to work, all of us worked hard, you know. And we would come to work and be like, all right, yeah, I'm about to take vacation, I'm about to take my family XY place. And we'd be so happy because we done went out there and bust our tail for this money. And we done saved a few dollars. And yeah, we going over here. And I'd be like, yeah, well, I'm taking my family over here. I was like one of the guys, you know. And they like, you're so silly, Jackie. I'm like, no, I'm acting like y'all because this is what it is. Yeah, I made money just like y'all. And I'm booking this vacation for me and my people, you know. And I loved it. You know, I used to have 2-3 vacations a year. And 2 out of the 3 vacations, I would take my family on a trip so we can get out and do some things. Then I learned to just take my mate so we can have some time, you know? And things were going well. So I said, okay, this is the way, even though I was playing the role of the man role, you know? I know that song, me and 50, I'm the man. I always say I'm the man. He ain't the man, you know. He don't even know what I'm talking about because I had to live that side of the life. You know what I mean? And people get it, you know, and that's why I sold so many copies because people get it, you know. It's not what you do, it's how you do it, you know, to make your life happy as a whole with your people, you know, having loyalty to your people. And when things go wrong, the family sit down. And that's one of the things I loved about my people in the Bronx, you know, my family in the Bronx. They always sat down, you know, at the table when things was some drama happened. or something happened in the family or whatever the case may be, they sat down at the table and they all discussed it and came to a conclusion. Okay? And once we set that conclusion, we fix it and move on with life. That's what it was. And everybody always stayed happy. So people can't tell me, oh, it's hard to do it, because I've seen plenty of families do it. And I do it myself. And I live through it. You know, it's not that hard. It's just everybody has to agree. Everybody has to be at a balance. That's just what it is. You know, to make things happy. You know? If something is beating up the family, and as one person is doing it, that person has to come to that agreement that this is what they're doing. They apologize about it and try to get help and fix it, so we can go back to living our normal life. And that's with red flags in the family, you know? Because there can be red flags in the family as well. And because everybody, you watch everybody, you know it. You know your family members if you live with them. And if something changes, you're like, hold on, what's wrong? You ain't been acting the same. 3 days on went by. We know everybody don't have good days every day. But 3 days on went by, 4 days on went by, 5 days on went by, and you acting strange. What's going on with you? Do we need to make a doctor's appointment? Or are you so-called feeling yourself and you need to get back to reality? Which one is it? Let me know so we can work on it. What are you feeling neglected of so we can get back? Because we all humans, so we have a way of sometimes neglecting something that we might have been putting a lot of energy into. And when that energy is pulled back from, say, a child or a husband, they go astray. Now they want to do all these other things that's not normal. And you're saying, hold on. Wait a minute. Pause. What did I do to get you to act like this? Okay, sit down. Let's talk about it. Well, you started doing blah, blah. Okay, well, now I need to change and I got to revamp some things to get back to what I'm used to doing. You know, it got to a point where I would go to work and I would forget to cook. Knowing the family, because, you know, I was working so much, I forget to come home and cook. And they be looking at me, my family, they funny with it. They'll get me in a corner. Like, you gonna cook? Like, we used to you cooking. We don't do the cooking. You cook. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's my job. Oh Lord. But anyway, y'all get the gist of what I'm speaking of. And just watch for the red flags, people. You know, if you know it ain't right, what they said, you know it ain't right, it ain't right. You know, if you see it to be not right, it ain't right. You know what I mean? Ask questions. You know. Well, I love y'all all. This is Miss JJ, Jacqueline Richardson, Jackie, Deja. And y'all take care, and I will talk to y'all on Monday morning.